There we go. Hello everybody, Kathy Arbor here, and today is Paint Along Thursday with acrylic paint. And last week we did a magnolia flower, this one here, and we did, or I did, some Zentangling around it. So I did finish it and added some shading with colored pencil and also graphite and a blending stump, they call it. So I think it turned out pretty good. I like it, and I'm going to be using this for the swap that Janet Young is hosting, and possibly I might try another one similar to this, but I don't know, maybe bees or something else in it, and then print them out. So if you're a fan of Zentangling, give that a try. It's a little different to add the acrylic paint, but I really like the way it looked in the, I wasn't sure whether it was going to be any good, but I really do like the way it turned out. And this is my April folder, and we did, I can't remember if it was this one or the duck we did the week before. These are also done on scrapbook paper, so you can get your old scrapbook paper and try using those up. And this one also was done on scrapbook paper, and it's always acrylic paint that I use. So as you can see, there's really no warping that happens, as long as you're not putting a lot of paint on. So if I were to put, say, oh, hi Devin, that's fine, hi Dot. Life happens. It's recorded. I think the reason why it doesn't warp, and this is just kind of like cardstock, maybe a little lighter, is because I'm not doing the whole page in paint. So it's not getting saturated, the whole thing. It's just portions of it. And I think that's probably why it works so well. Same with this one. It wasn't totally saturated with water and paint. Hey Janet! So I think that's probably why it worked. I like that one. It's so cute. And the little duck. I can't remember which came before, but this is going in my April folder. So I will cut around. See, I've already outlined it. So I will cut around these and put them in. Now, if you're in my watercolor streams, if you followed me there, Tuesdays at 1, I did this one here, and this is called Bloodroot. And I'm drawing the flowers that are in my garden or in my area if I go for a walk and I take pictures. So this is the one that I drew and watercolored. And I've got a few of them, and I will be writing about them. So 4 or 5 of them so far. And I'm not sure, I think anemones will be the next one. And I'll be drawing that out for you because I have a few people that would like to know how to draw it out also. So it might be a little bit longer than an hour when I do the drawings. So if you're not interested in drawing, you can always tune in a little later, or if you're watching the recording, you can just fast forward through that part. I also wanted to let you know about the paintings that we're doing in the members stream. This one here This is going to be a mixed media collage painting, and it's for the blooming artist. So I think it's going to be really cool. I'm just doing a small one, but if you wanted to enlarge this to quite a bit bigger, that's fine. You can go ahead and do that. And we're going to be collaging with either jelly prints that you already have, or scrapbook paper, whatever paper you may have. And this is the idea that I'm going to be doing. So we're going to be actually tracing out the flowers in the background just in black and white, but the bee itself will be done in color. So I think that's going to look cool. And that will be tomorrow at 1 o'clock for those in the Blooming Artist membership. The budding artist, I have a video almost finished. I'm just editing. It should be out tomorrow evening, and that is for budding artist and blooming artist. So if you want to, and this is what I did in that. So it's a face done. It's not that difficult, with a magazine image. So I've painted over the magazine image. So you'll want to see if you can find a fairly large picture of a face. I find that the Cosmopolitan, those type of magazines that have a lot of makeup ads in them, you can usually find fairly large pictures of women's faces. So if you're in those, this is what we'll be doing. It's a little bit of a longer video. I think it's 2.5 hours. So if you want to get file folder or just a journal page, if you just want to try it first, you can do that. Also, it would work on a canvas. It's up to you. This is all acrylic paint, and then I also used colored pencil on this. So there's quite a bit of detail in the face there, but you don't have to do the lines. I like detail, but it would be fine without. So I just thought I'd show you that. Okay, so this is what we're going to be doing today. So as you know, the bees are all out and they're all getting happy because of the dandelions are starting to bloom. And I know a lot of people that have these perfect lawns hate dandelions. Well, here in Canada, Ontario especially, I'm not sure if the other province do this, but we aren't allowed to spray anymore for weeds. The farmers can, but residential, no, we can't spray. So we have to leave our dandelions, or we can get the dandelion plucker and do it. But I have so many dandelions, I probably wouldn't have a lawn or green area if I took all the dandelions, and it would take me a year. I swear, I have so many dandelions. But they're only out for a short period of time, and then it all goes back to green again. So I'm good with it, and it feeds the bees. So let's keep the bees happy. So this is just a scrapbook paper again. And I thought it would be kind of cool if I did it on a real dark black color. You could paint whatever you want on it, maybe use some stencils, that type of thing. Just go into live chat here. Oh, there we go. I'm probably going to put a little bit more in the background once the picture's done. But this is going to fit in my April journal page too. So I'm going to keep it fairly close to the bottom of my page here. And let's see, and this is a white tracing paper, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to trace this, and you can find that anyone in the membership, that's all levels, have access to this traceable that I have, and there's a link in the community page that you'll find it there. So if you want to go after this video, or you can go now and if you want to paint along, and download this traceable. Okay, so I'm gonna trace this. I'm gonna put it down here this time. Because I already have the background done with the paper itself, I'm not going to worry about working around something because it's already done for me. But if you're not using already finished background, you'll have to put in your background first and then trace this on top. So whatever color you're going to be using, you may, if it's a lighter background, you're going to have to use the darker paper. Make sure you put it on the right way too. All right, so I'm just going to take a pen. Let's see. It's just a ballpoint pen. I like using the bold tips, because then you can see where you've actually gone, if this one's working. Maybe it's not. Oh, I don't think that one's working anymore. Let's see if this one is. Yep, okay. So we're going to do this one, and with these traceables, if you don't like something in it, change it. I don't mind. I'm not going to email you and say, you missed this. Just change it up. If you want to change the way the leaves are going, you could do that. You can make it smaller. Whatever's best for you is okay with me. So I'm just going to trace this all out. If you're watching the replay, you can fast forward ahead, or if you're playing along, it'll probably be done just about the time you're done. This here, I'm just putting a sketched line here, just to, it's the seed part of it, so it's going to be kind of see-through. So you can just put a circle around it and then a few strokes indicating that that's a seed pod. Now there's different types of dandelions too. So this one, I'm not sure what the name is, but it's got a very cut out leaf, very, very intricate leaf, whereas some of them are a little bit more long and narrow. It's funny how, you know, gardeners especially, we view these as terrible weeds, but they are really a neat plant. You can eat them, you can make wine out of them. They actually improve your soil conditions by adding calcium to your soil. So apparently if you have a lot of dandelions, means the calcium in your soil there is low. So when the calcium is higher, then they'll stop growing. And the bees love it. It's one of their first meals, really. There's a few flowers out in bloom now, but it's a huge amount of food for them, so I like to leave them on for as long as I can without cutting the grass, so they get a chance to have a good meal. I have a lot of bees around here. I'm pretty sure there's got to be someone that's got hives close to me, because there are a ton of bees. So if you have any questions, just leave it in chat there, or if you're watching the recording, just leave a comment. I'll get back to you. I'm usually pretty good at commenting after the video. Usually see it within a day or two, so I'm not going to reply that minute you send it, but so you could actually do acrylic painting for a nature journal too. You don't have to just have ink and watercolor. It's quite nice to see colored pencil, acrylic paint, whatever, even just graphite drawings. Looks really nice as nature journals. So just use what you have. That's what I'm doing. So I'm trying to use up my scrapbook paper, and I have quite a bit of craft paint. I do like craft paint though, because being a mixed media artist, I like to use colored pencil on a lot of stuff. So craft paint has a nice tooth to it, and that's why I tend to go towards that instead of artist grade. I know there is a new matte paint out there by Golden, but very expensive. So this does me just fine, especially for what I'm doing in journals. So they're closed, and they may not last for hundreds of years, but they're good for me. So my journals are basically a place to try things out, or to just keep in practice of drawing or painting. Because if you don't practice and use your talents, you tend to lose them, and you'll have to get back into it again. Okay, let's check this and see if it's still in place. I got everything. I think so. Okay, so I can take that off now. So remember, this is going to be cut here because of the size of the file folder that it's going on. So All right, so how's everybody doing? Are you doing a journal for your garden or nature journaling of some sort? Or do you do that at all? Maybe you don't like to do that type of thing. Or maybe you're into photography. Just put it in caps when you're talking to me. So I'm going to be doing greens and yellows, of course, and a little bit of white. So there's very little color that needs to be going into this. So I got some, I guess I could put that under there so you can see the colors I'm using more. So I want, let's see, an avocado, light avocado, and I think I want a fairly, almost a light green too, like this one here. This is mint julep green, and I want cadmium yellow, and I think I'm going to use a little bit of bright orange also. Haven't started my journal yet. Going to go get all my plants this afternoon and others are being delivered. Oh, awesome! That's exciting. I'd love to be able to go to a nursery, but we can't really go. Well, we can, but it's so restricted now because you can only have one person in the nursery at a time, and such a mess. But I'm content and I'm happy and grateful for what I have in my garden, and I'll just make do with what I have. I'm tied up with my course with Hillary Beatty is her name. Mixed media would have had a... Oh no! Well, I hope you feel better. Well, it's good to be tied up with something creative, Dot. I'm glad you have something that you're interested in and you're doing. That's great. You're able to, are you doing it online? We're totally opened up, no mandatory. Ah, wonderful, Janet. So happy for you. I'm hoping sooner or later. I might darken some of these too a little bit. We'll see. The leaves are going to be more of this. They're almost, depending on where they're growing, I guess. I can always add a little bit of yellow to brighten this up too. Yes, online with weekly live videos. She often streams all day. Oh, wow! That's fantastic, Dot. I'd love to be able to have something like that. See, I need a pokey tool. I forgot to close this lid on this one. I guess I could just pour it out. Will I get it out? Oh, there we go. Some yellow. And I want some nice bright white. So like some titanium white here. And I think that's all the colors I need. Maybe some umber. Yeah, it's this one. Asphaltum would do, or I guess I'll do asphaltum. Just a little bit of, it's kind of a brown color. These are some There are some Americans taking part, Kathy, also Sweden, Europe. Oh, really? I'll have to look that up then. That would be wonderful. Hey, Jilly, how are you? How's it in your part of the country? Excuse me. We're getting a lot of rain right now, and tomorrow we're getting snow. Mixed precipitation, they say. So hopefully it won't stay. It's just hovering around -1 to 0 for tomorrow, but then it's up to 14 Celsius on Saturday. So I don't know. It's crazy here. Poor birds and plants don't know what they're doing. Crazy weather. All right, so let's get started and paint this up. So I think I'm going to start with the leaves because they're behind a lot of this stuff. So that's what I look at first when I'm drawing something, is you have to look at the back and work towards you. So the leaves here are going to be this olivey green, avocado green color. It's a light avocado green. And I'm not worried about not going over these white lines from my drawing, tracing. So they will rub off. This paper is, I don't know what kind of material they use for tracing paper, like this white stuff, but it's very easy to remove. So I'm not too worried. So you just wait till your paint is good and dry, and then you can take a baby wipe and just wipe it right off. So I'm just base coat all your leaves in. Don't have to worry about shading yet. I find that most of the time that's how I work with a lot of stuff. There are things that I will do right away instead of a base coat. Depends on the subject matter, but a lot of the time I do a base coat and then do my highlights and shadows afterwards. Find Hillary at hillaryshop.com. Thanks, Dot. Thank you so much. I will check that out. Is it a year-long class type of thing, or is it by the month, or? Now, because I don't have any kind of matte medium on the paper's really soaking up this paint and drying quite quickly. That's good, but I may have to put an additional amount on, another coat maybe in certain areas. Now I can take advantage of the dark color of the background because it could also work as a shadow, because it just makes my green look a little darker. yes, it's a, oh, year long. Wow. That's cool. So just enjoy the process and let your mind just get lost in your work. That's usually what I do when I'm not streaming, is I'll just start doing painting or drawing or something, and I do that with gardening too. When I'm gardening, I just get lost in it, and before you know it, it's like hours. Although my body usually warns me I can't garden like I used to, but I still enjoy it. I like just, when you're gardening and you have some spring flowers up and you're doing the weeding, and it's so nice just to stop and look at the flowers as you're weeding. And I don't rush. I might do half an hour of weeding, and then I'll just stop, go sit down and take a drink or coffee break and enjoy looking at my garden. I stop and smell the flowers, literally. It's a great pastime. Now I am going to get that other channel of mine up. It's just been such crappy weather that I haven't had, well, plants haven't been doing anything either because of the cold weather, but as soon as I get some nice weather again and the flowers are up now, so I'll be doing some videos on my other channel. Just gardening stuff, walkthroughs. I might show you some of the things I do, how I transplant or divide flowers maybe. So there are a few things that I have to divide already because the flowers are growing like crazy. Can't believe how quickly things have grown here. And my new channel, I haven't got anything on it yet, but I will. And it's called Gardening Artfully. Because I do. It's funny how your artistic creative side, for me anyways, takes hold in gardening too. Because I'll look at things like maybe a certain plant is pink, and if I have it next to a certain shade of yellow, it dulls the pinks, so I'll have to move it because it's not showing the best with it. It's kind of like companion planting, so certain colors look better together, certain heights, and I also look at textures, even green colors. I'm just kind of obsessed with it, to be truthful. I'm always moving stuff. Every year I move stuff because it's like well, let's try this here. Maybe it doesn't grow there. It grew taller than you thought it would, that type of thing. Or you just don't like the color with something else, or the texture is too weedy looking maybe. I love texture, and I like different sizes of leaves with certain things. It's kind of like being a florist, but you're not picking anything. You're making a bouquet in your garden. That's the way I look at it. Cash your garden pictures are. Oh, thanks, Jilly. Yeah, I love taking pictures of them. Well, I like to draw them, and then I'm always telling myself too that, well, in the winter time when everything's done, I can use some of these to plan for next year type of thing. So I know where stuff is and what the colors were, and also to just draw in the winter time, have something, and then you don't have to worry about copyright type things with the internet, and I like to share it with you guys too. Give you something to have a reference for. I just use my phone. It's not any fancy camera or nothing. I used to be in photography. That was one of my classes in art school, was photography, and it was fun. Back then, they used to supply everything. Not anymore. Yeah, everything you have to buy in school now. Everything was supplied back then. I'm probably dating myself. But it was neat because then no matter what your financial situation, you were able to try those products. So hard for kids nowadays. Things are so expensive. Okay, so I got that done. Now the stems are a different color. So I'm going to use this, what is it, mint julep green. And then I'll put a little bit of a shadow down the center. This would look really neat on a wall if you framed them in a white frame, I think. With the black background, I think that really looks awesome when people do that. Hey Z! Zandra! Oh, you're not in the membership, I forgot. I'll show you anyways. Here's what budding artists are doing. And it's a paint over from a magazine image, the face. Not that hard to do. So I know you're doing faces. You're doing an excellent job, I might add. Now remember, I said the chalk lines are going to come off after this paint is dry, so don't worry about that. Hey, Colleen. I think I might put a bee on here too. I didn't put one in, but I think it would be fitting, being that it's their main source of food right now. Keep the bees happy. They're all levels of the membership have the traceable of this, so just go on the community page and it's there. When are you doing that? Tomorrow. It's actually the face one. I'll have it up. It's actually a video, so I'll have it. I'm actually editing it right now, and it'll be up tonight or tomorrow. Probably tonight. I've pretty well done most of the editing on it. And that's in the Budding Artist. Put a little more in here. Let's see. I think that's all of them. All right, now this one is one of the dandelions. I think both of these here. No, this is a new one. This one here is one that's already bloomed. So the little, I don't know what they're called, calyx type of thing. What surface is clad? This is just scrapbook paper. Colleen. So find any kind of scrapbook paper. I like the dark one for this, but you can put it on whatever you want. It doesn't have to be scrapbook paper. You could paint a black surface if you want a board or something like that. That would work too. All right, so the little, I don't know, what are they called? Calyx? Is what I'm thinking, but I could be wrong. Leave a comment if you know what it is and I'm saying the wrong thing. And they're dark too, so I'm gonna put that. And I'm actually gonna, I'll show you in a minute, leave the see-through to the other side of the paper, like it's kind of see-through-y. I'll show you. See how you can see the marks from the paintbrush? That's fine. It actually works for me. So I'm going to leave that. Same with this one here. So I'm just going in the direction of those little thingies. This is a angled brush that I'm using. And then this one up here also, they're a little bit wonky looking. And then this part up here is green also, just bits of it. And then you'll see a little bit of the yellow from the new flower. And I'm going to add a little bit of this while it's wet on the bottom. Just sweep it up. Kind of mixes into your paint. So while the paint was still wet, I mixed a little bit of that brown. And let's see, I could do that with this one here too. It's a little darker on the bottom. So it's just the slightest amount on my brush. See? Okay, now that these are dry, now we can put a little bit of shading in some of these stems too. So I could take this ochre, or not ochre, avocado, and just down the center here, just sweep it down. Doesn't have to be a line, kind of be sketchy with it. And a little more on one side than the other. And the right in here is under a leaf, so it's going to be a little bit darker. So you'd add a little bit of that brown on the tip of your brush and just blend it in while it's wet. Just around where the leaf is. See, not much, just a bit. And you can do that with the other ones too. So I'm taking pretty well all the water out of my brush before I put the paint on, because I don't want too much water in it. Let's see, down here we'll have some too. This one's fairly just a spot shaded from the flower itself. Missed that area there. So I'm going to put a little bit of that brown right up here, right in where the flower is, and I'm just going to sweep it down, right down the center. And this one here, have a little bit of, I'm going to actually add some to the top part here. And then a little bit of brown on my brush again. It'll be darker on the bottom here. And this one, a bit of brown. And right in there I missed. That's going to be dark anyways, so. And then on the left or right side, because it's bent a little bit, so it'll be on the right side of that bend. And under here, be shaded by those little leaves there. Okay. Hi, May. Let's see, what else can we do? This needs to be done. So it's going to be fairly dark, and I add a little bit of brown to that mix. And there. Okay. You guys are seeing this okay? Now let's do the leaves. The leaves are going to be more impressionistic, I guess you could say. So I'm going to take some of this avocado and I'm going to mix a little brown with it just to make it a little darker. And make up enough that you don't have to make up again, because sometimes it's hard getting that same mix. Make sure you have enough. And then I'm going to, let's see, I might use a blender brush. I'll see what I want to do here. So it has a mid-rib, and down that mid-rib will be darker along there. You see that? So I'm just doing taking my brush and walking it out, I guess you could say. But I don't want the whole part of the leaf to be covered in brown, just a bit. And it can be blotchy, that's fine. You just want a little bit of a difference in tone. And we'll do a little bit of a highlight also. Thanks, Colleen. So wherever it's close to another leaf or flower, around that other item is usually darker. Because it'll be shaded. Okay. There, as you get down here, it gets fairly dark, so I'm actually going to use quite a bit of brown on my brush. So I just dipped the tip of my brush and I'm just dabbing it to spread it a little further. Okay, see? And I'm going to put a little bit more down along the just going to have a little bit more too. If you find your brown isn't dark enough, you can always put a little bit black in it. Got your feeders out. Yeah, I put my, well, I have one that I put out with some finch food in it. We have a lot of birds around here, but I don't like to put the mixed variety in real early because the starlings just rob it and don't leave anything for anybody else. I really don't like starlings. They rob nests and they're a lazy bird. They don't do anything. They rob other birds' nests and lay their eggs. Even if there's already chicks in it, they'll just throw the chicks out of the nest. Nasty. It's going to be dark here. Okay. One more over here. Just sweep it in a little bit. I'm going to add highlights to these too. We're just putting in this first. It's almost a khaki color I'm using. The leaves are kind of, they're not like flat, they're kind of wavy. If you look at, well, I guess some are flat, but depends on the type of dandelion you have. But we'll emphasize how they're laying with the highlight. So I'm not too worried about the shadows. I can always change that if I, that's the nice thing about acrylics is you can change it if you don't like it. It's not that difficult. I got them all now. You guys, is that noticeable enough? It's hard to tell if you're seeing it. Okay. Sorry, not paying attention over here. Yep. Hummers have scouts and always return to the same areas. They know where the food sources are. Oh, I didn't know that, Janet. Cool. All right, so let's put a little bit, I think I'm going to try probably some of that green again, that mint tulip or whatever, mint julep. And I'm gonna have a fairly dry brush. I'm just gonna dab here and there. I think this is when I want a drier bristle brush. Let's see. I've got this, this is a filbert number 4. And I'm just gonna put just the end of it in paint. Dab it off a little and then scrub in the areas that I want to highlight. Because I don't want it too noticeable, like I don't want it bright, just certain areas. You just scrub. It's a blender. You can get different size blenders too. So it's just the very end of my brush, and it's a dry brush. I didn't wet it, and you just scrub it to blend things. See, where else? Probably have a few in here. I need a really small one. Or actually, I'm just going to put a really watered down line of that same color that I was using, and do a line down, just kind of skipping down this center rib. It just brings it out a little bit more. Let's see, this one here. And then I'm going to put a little bit more on my brush, and some of these, this calyx or whatever you want to call it, wherever there's a tip, you could put a little bit on that, or if you see it's folding over, there'd be a little bit of a shine on that. And maybe just a few down there. This one too could have a few on it. Just lines, a few lines. And this one, oh, I missed a spot in there, right here. I missed a bit. Okay, see how it brightens it up when you put the highlights on? Now remember, those lines are the white lines are going to be gone. Now this, the little heads of when they lose their seeds, they're kind of a whitish color. A little on the gray side maybe. So I'm just going to paint them with this titanium white for now. And with a little bit of that mix that you had for the leaves, I want to put a little bit of a shadow in there. I'm going to mix it with a little bit of white. Just on one side. And it doesn't have to be smooth looking either, because they're kind of dimpled if you ever look at them. We could also do that later once they're dried. And this one here, this one is all closed up, but it's the white fluff, the seed will be coming open. So it'll be also a white color. It's a little bit wet. So you can paint that in. And then we'll darken it with a might not have to. See how the back of the paper actually shows some of the lining of it? So it kind of looks streaky. I don't know if you can see that or not. Now the puff of the seed head is fairly dark in the center, so I'm going to take that green and that brown color, and I'm just going to paint this in brown, fairly dark. Might have to put a couple coats. It's fairly dark area. Let's dry that, and then I can put another coat. The background of the paper will help too. So okay. Now we could take if you have a stipple brush or a deerfoot, that would be good too. Let's see what I got here. I know I have, there's a deerfoot. Okay, this is a deerfoot, so it's kind of on a slant. You can see that. But it's fairly large, but it's a little bit on the, it's not as stiff as a bristle, but a little bit less. So I want to take some of that white, stamp it off on your palette or whatever, And just around the outside, I want you to start stamping down your white. Keep doing it, but don't go towards the center yet, just around the edge. So you want it kind of, you want it looking like that. You don't want it too full, like a circle. You want it grainy looking. So just keep doing it. Go around. And then just make sure you have a brush that's not too loaded, and just along the outside edge, just go around just lightly so that you have the smallest of little dabs. You don't want to be able to see the definition of the deer foot though. So you want kind of looking like that. Okay. Now with your, if you have a paint marker, you can't use a pen on this. It's best to have a paint marker. And I want you to draw with a very fine, the finest paint marker you have. I just got this Posca, my first Posca. See. Just priming it. There we go. And I'm just from the center here, you want to have a few dots and then swipe them outwards. as light as you can. You don't want them fairly heavy. And a few dots in the center. And then just kind of around the bottom area, there'll be more, and then up on the top. So I'm not even pressing down. I want it to be very, very light. And you can cross over. You don't want to have them go all the same direction, but you want to go in a spiral, of course. Okay, so you kind of like that. So then you want to dry it. Alright, and then I would take our Deerfoot stippler again. Where did I put it? Oh, I didn't press. Forgot to put plug in my computer. There we go. Where? Oh, there it is. Okay, so I'm gonna take some of that white. Make sure your Deerfoot is as really dry as possible. And then we will continue to add a few more of those dots over top of this, but just a few. You don't want to cover all of that. You'll see more in the center here, going up towards the top. Be a little more condensed. So just in this area here. Okay. And then you can take that Posca again and just make let's see if I can do this. Some lines on the edge here, crisscrossing. So crisscross them. Just along the edge. And this way, you know how the individual little seed heads have fuzzy tips? This will give it that effect. Don't press too hard though. You could probably do this part in pen if you wanted to. As long as you're finished, then it wouldn't rub off. So I just go a little more on the top than around this area here. You want to kind of leave that so it's kind of see-through looking. Okay, and then it kind of gives it that fuzzy look. I think I might give a few lines on here too, that fuzzy part. Okay. Only Kathy could make they're cool if you look at them. Hey, Jersey. There's a traceable for you in the community page on the membership if you want to download it. Okay, let's do the dandelion part now. So I'm going to take a round brush. This is the number 4. Oh, that's right. It is our wishing flower. I forgot about that. And let's see. We're going to do the olive green first. And I'm just going to start off with the middle, and I'm going to just do a bunch of lines using the shape of my brush. So you can follow the lines in the drawing if you want, or you could do it however you want. So you could start on the outer edge and work your way in if you're not sure how to go about doing it. And that way you're getting more of an overlap look of the flower itself, how they lay. And I'll be going back over this with yellow. So I wanted a bit of this green. Just for the low lights, the shadowed areas, and that way it's easier to paint. Here. Thanks, Dot. Alright, so now just take that nice bright cadmium yellow, and I'm not even going to wait for this to dry. If it mixes, that's even better. Now, actually, I think I'll take a little bit of yellow or white with it, and I'm going to start on the outer edge first. And I'm not necessarily going to worry about how the drawing was. I'm using the stroke shape of the brush as my petal. Turn your paper around. Make it easier on yourself. And don't fill it up too much that you don't see the green. You want to be able to see that green. The outer edge can be done a little bit lighter, And then as we go into the center, you can add more of the yellow, and then we'll add actually a little bit of orange to that too. Oop. Okay. Take that up. Green. Too much water on my brush. So it's just stroking over each petal, but you're working it as you go into the center. You want a fair amount of yellow on your brush because yellow tends to be a little bit transparent. So if you find your yellow's really transparent, you could always go over it with white first and then put the yellow on if you want, or add yellow to your, or white to your mix. As we work into the center, you get smaller strokes. And little dots almost in the center. Okay. Then I'm going to take a little bit of that, I have bright orange, or you could use a cadmium orange, would be fine. And I'm going to put a little bit of that on. And just in the center area, I'm just going to make some marks. And the paint is still wet, so it's kind of mixing with what I already have on there. And just work your way out. And then you can add yellow again if you want. Darken it a little bit with some brown for the very center. Put some dark areas in. I should have done that actually before I did this, but it still works. Just dab. Here and there. And there's the, I wonder if I turn the light off, you'll be able to see it better. There, that's better. See? Okay. Now, let's dry that so we don't put our hand in it. Okay, and this is a dead one that's still got the color in it. It's just a little more on the brownish, orangey yellow side, so I'm just gonna mix a little brown and orange together. I'm just gonna swipe up and maybe a little yellow on the top. And just dry that. All right. Now, I'm going to see if I can take off. This is a baby wipe, and I'm just going to wipe around the edges of my painting where that marks were left from the tracing paper. It should come off. That's it. There. That came off pretty good. So you can't see it now. Now, I want to put in just a little bit of something something. Where did I put that? I've got a stencil somewhere. Where did I put it? I'm pretty sure I had one somewhere sitting here. Good Lord. Oh, there it is. All right. this stencil. And I just want to put just a little bit of probably cream color. I don't want to go too bright because that's going to be conflicting to this here. But, and I'm not even going to worry about how the words look. Now you could write it yourself if you wanted to. Let's see. I'm going to use a sponge, I believe. And I think I'm going to probably, I've got some white here, I may as well use it instead of, and I'll just mix some brown with it. Maybe even green. Yeah. All right. And just going, let's see, start here. And I'm not even gonna worry about if it's coming all the way through. I want it very, very minute. Just trying to see where everything is. Okay, it's just like that, just a little something. So if it's a little bit unreadable, that's good. And then we can put it in here. This, if I have room. This might have to be a page for the back, and this will have to be used as a or I could make that a page. We'll see. So I'm going to put it in this file folder. So what I'm going to do is take my pencil and just trace around this. These are such terrible file folders. They're so crooked. Very crooked. And scissors. And we'll just cut this out. Make sure it's the right way. You never know. Let's see. Yep, it's the right way. Make sure it's right side up. I do have a tendency to do that. So I hope you give this a try and download the traceable and watch the video over again. It's not that difficult. It's the types of strokes that I do is very easy, and I show you everything there is to know about doing them. So give them a try. Put them in a do it in a journal if you're not sure about yourself, because they're so fun to see the magic happen when you try a new thing. So this one will go here, I think. So I'll just paste that in. And I think this one will go here. And then I'll put this one in between. This is probably the idea. Or, no, I have to do it this way. Maybe this will be the in between. Because I don't want to cut this edge. I have some matte medium here. This is the gel. So it doesn't have as much water in it. So it's less likely to buckle your pages. You could just glue stick it in too, if you wanted to. Here. Bring it down. Glues very quickly. And then there. To recut a little bit, but it looks pretty good. Gotta go now, Kat. All right, have a good quiz night, Dot. Janice. And this one could go there. I don't know. Let's see. How much do I kind of like this one there? Part of the daffodil would be cut. See. Well, I guess I could just glue it and then just cut afterwards. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'm going to glue this onto this side. Silicone thingy. I just used it and now I can, oh, there it is. Not enough under here. There. So I'll just have to, when I bind it, I will put a little bit of, actually I could make that part of my tab. Ugh. Too close. I have to trim some of that, see how it closes. I have to let it dry, I guess. Alright, so I think that's it for me. And if you're following along, sure to put it on Instagram so I can see it and just tag me. I'd love to see what you're doing. And again, if you're wanting to do this, it's on the membership page. And if you're not a member, if you want just the traceables, it's $2.99 a month, $2.99 a month for all the traceables each month. And all you have to do is join, and it'll guide you to where everything is and what each membership contains. So you can find that on the join button. Okay, so I'll let you guys go, and for those that are in the Blooming Artist and Budding Artist, your classes will be tomorrow. The Budding Artist is a video, and I'll have that up probably tomorrow. And not sure what time, but might even be up tonight. And for the Blooming Artist, we're doing that collaged bee. So this is what we're doing. And I will put that up for you tonight, and all the supplies that you will be needing, and the downloadable for this. So, hope you had a creative time with this, and we'll be seeing you tomorrow, some of you, and we'll be hopefully seeing you on Tuesday at the Watercolor Tuesday. So have a fantastic weekend, everybody, and stay safe and stay creative. Bye for now.